Hey everybody, Belinda Sandor here. How are you? Welcome, 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 welcome. Today we're going to talk about is being a virtual assistant for you. And I love this topic. I think it's really timely because a lot of people wonder, is the market saturated? How do I do this? Is it a lifestyle that I would enjoy? Do I have the skills? Where am I going to get clients? How much can I charge? All those questions, burning questions. And so today we're going to spend some time together answering them. And I would love this to be as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions, there's nothing off limits. Just let me know in the chat, okay? What's on your mind? So right now we are streaming on YouTube, Periscope, all over Facebook. So I want to just take a minute to introduce myself. My name, like I said, is Belinda Sandor, even though that says Belinda Wasser, because I have not given this presentation since I changed my name. I changed my name. It'll be a month on last Saturday, and I just got married. Yay. So let's jump in. Okay. All right, so here is me with my little delish, Emily, who is 20 years old now. She was about 9 there. And this is the moment, pretty much the moment, or right around it when I was starting my VA business. And, I think a lot of business owners, oh, Therese is here. Hey, Therese. Hey, glad you're here. I think a lot of people who have corporate backgrounds like me, I was in corporate for 17 years, when they think about owning their own business, well, first of all, they have no idea what's going to happen, right? I had no idea, no idea. And then the other thing is, we think that we should wait until the most ideal time possible. And, there is not some ideal time when you can start your business. Sure, if you have like $1 bajillion in the bank and you just want to try it out. But I've found that starting my business in the middle of chaos probably helped me a little bit because it was just like another thing instead of, this new chaos being added. Anyway, here's where I was at the time. I was not in an ideal place. I had a ton of debt, and not the kind of fun debt like we went to Disney World, the kind of debt like medical bills, tires. Like, who likes to spend money on tires? I do not like to spend money on tires. Things that we just we needed, and you know how it goes. Every month you think it'll be okay. I'll handle this next time. I'll handle this next month. So tons of debt. And I was a newly single mom. So now I'm figuring out not only how to take care of me, but me alone with Emily. And if you've ever been in that situation, there's a lot of juggling that goes on with that. It's not business as usual. And I was clear that I did not want to shuttle her around. I didn't want her going from thing to thing to thing. And the job that and I had no job. And the job that I had prior to this, I did not want to work in that setting. I was a technical project manager in IT, meaning I was managing Microsoft, Exchange rollouts, mostly not the technical side, the people side. And I didn't want to go back to that because it's not 9 to 5. It's not even close to that. And I didn't even really want to be away 9 to 5 because I had Emily. And it took me a really long time to have her. I had her when I was 40, and I wanted to be with her. But I had to figure out the job. And then the other thing was that we had to move 4 times in 3 years because part of the struggle was that I hadn't been able to pay the mortgage in well over a year. And so you can imagine, I stopped answering my cell phone pretty much because so many people were calling all the time. It was very stressful, so much change. And I went for it at the same time. And I have to say that I sort of thought at the time, that I have all this struggle. I'm going to have all this struggle. And I should just what I think in my mind is like, buckle up, buttercup, this is just what's going to happen. And you need to just deal with this because because I had reached a certain age where I just didn't see how I was going to escape it. Like it just seemed like I'd made so many choices and there was really no way around it. So it did turn around though. I want to go into it a little bit more. I'm noticing I have to show you the slide that I did not do a good job on, but what I want to do is I want to tell you how I got from there to here, which is I've been in business 11 years. I've worked with over 225 clients and I've created over $1 million in revenue. And the first year I was in business, I made $70,000 alone, just me doing work. And even though I said I was a technical project manager, I didn't know any of the skills that I do for my clients other than, Word and PowerPoint, little PowerPoint. I didn't know any of the skills. I didn't know any of it. So it wasn't like, I jumped off of corporate and started doing the same exact things I was doing before. It wasn't like that at all. So how it worked was I started temping because I needed to make money. And I used to be an admin. I started my career, I went to secretarial school. I started my career as a receptionist, and then I was an admin, and then I kind of moved my way up over time. And so I thought temping would be good. And it built my confidence a little bit because I was able to be in the trenches. I hadn't worked in that type of work for, oh, wow, I don't know, 20 years, I'd say. So I needed to get, my sea legs under me. And I did. The problem was that I couldn't make enough money because the temp agency was charging a fee, which of course I get that. But what I saw was that people were willing to spend more than I was getting paid, because these numbers are fictitious, but let's say the temp agency is charging $50 and I'm making $30. So for me to come in as a temporary employee, that company is willing to pay $50 an hour. And that was really interesting. So I decided I was just going to go on my own and start telling everybody I knew what I was up to. I didn't know how to talk about it. I didn't know anything. I just flung myself at it. Started talking to some of the dads at school bus stop. And one of the dads, I said, yeah, I'm doing admin work, helping people. And I'm just telling him I have no idea that he just started a new company and his wife was begging him to get help because she was going crazy. And so it was just like, boom, he knew me for years because I was standing in the snow and the rain and everything with him, with our kids. And he said, will you help me? And I said, sure. So it wasn't virtual at first. I would go to his office, which I could walk to, which is great because I didn't have a car. So I would go there every day and work for a few hours. I did things like set up his payroll, which might sound complicated, but it's really just picking a company, calling them and filling out the forms. I helped him install software on computers. I paid his bills, which he's taught me how to do all of it. I mean, I didn't know how to pay a bill in a Bank of America account, and he had it set up a certain way. So he showed me how to do that. I answered the phones. I just pretty much tried to take off his plate the things that he didn't need to do and that I frankly enjoyed. So I did that for a while. And then some time went by and I went to a wedding and I was standing in line, the food line. And, the person there said, what do you do? And I said, oh, blah, blah, blah. And by that point, I was getting a little better at talking about it, not a lot. And he said, oh, wow, that's really cool. I connected with him on LinkedIn. And I was so scared to do that because I didn't know what he was going to think, which now seems so crazy to me. But I get it if you're being a little shy out there because you're wondering, what are people going to think? They're not going to really think anything. Or maybe they're thinking that you're growing your LinkedIn or you want to stay in touch, but I thought it was going to mean some other stuff. I don't even remember, but I just know when I hit that button to connect with him, I thought, what did I just do? So he got in touch with me on LinkedIn a couple weeks later and said, I am having an event at Constant Contact, a live in-person event. This is 11 years ago. And I need someone to manage the registration, go to the event, create some handouts, which he gave me the content, hand them out, and sell my books in the back of the room. It's like, I could do that, right? We could do that. So I did. And afterward, we had a cup of tea and one of us had the idea, what if we did this as a webinar? We'd gotten like comfortable with each other doing all this constant contact stuff. And so we had this conversation about, well, what if we did webinars? And he had the content and didn't want to figure out how to do it. And I didn't know how to do it. I don't even know if I'd ever been on a webinar, but we figured it out. So, this is before Zoom. We opened the account and the slides, and we got a little routine going, and he started to make a lot of money. He then turned it into an online course and was very successful with it. In fact, he still does webinars, and 11 years later, I still help him with them. And what happened there was people started to see me. I just kept telling everybody I knew. I started writing an email newsletter. I did that very frequently to stay in touch with people. A lot of it was, it was a little uncomfortable, but mostly I didn't know what I was doing. And that's the part that made it hard. But I kept doing it, and I did okay. And let's look at what it looks like now. So this is me and Emily and Greg last summer in our backyard, and it looks really different, So being able to support myself and Emily was huge. Being able to corral that debt and make it so that I was not a slave to the monthly minimum payment, which if anybody has the monthly minimum payment, you know what that's like. It's horrible, because when you really figure it out, you can never get out from under it. But I was able to corral it and to consolidate it and to get my hands around it. And now it is very manageable. And I have choices. I did not have a lot of choices back then, because when it was like my arms were tied behind my back. Everything was a struggle, where we lived, there were even things like grocery shopping. Emily would come to me and she'd say, with all these Luna bars that are $1.50 each, and she'd say, Mom, let's get all these. And I'm trying to manage the money through like tomorrow. I am not exaggerating. And I would just say, I have an idea. Since we're going to carry the groceries, let's just buy one and I'll get you some more tomorrow, thinking, I can't, that's, $20 worth of Luna bars. So it was really at that level. But now I have so many more choices, and it makes such a huge difference. And I can make decisions. I can make decisions. I'll give you an example. This was a huge turning point in my life. So we all see people doing things for their kids, and I have done everything that I can for Emily, but it reached a point where she needed a car. And I thought, I wanted her to be safe, and I can't afford to just buy her a car, but she wasn't going to be able to go to some special, some events in college if she didn't have a car. So it was just crazy how it happened. A family member came to me, said, I have this car. It belongs to my she passed away, mother-in-law, who drove it to the grocery store once a week. The car is really old, but it has no miles on it. And I want to sell it for $2,500. It's like, I can do that. And it felt like one of the proudest moments in my life, because I got to this place where, without twisting myself around, without freaking out, without putting it on a credit card, without anything, I could pay for the car and give it to Emily from a place of, abundance, and here, now you can go do that thing. And it was really huge for me, because as I mentioned before, I honestly thought that I was not going to be able to turn this around. I was 50, that's when you're, we always think the age we are is but that's what I thought. And I was able to breathe again. And it's just been amazing. It's been amazing. So now Greg and I got married about a month ago. I'm still trying to get used to my name. And Emily is in Europe studying with college. She was in Austria yesterday, and today she's in Germany, and she's taking classes with her college. They all went over there as a group, and it's just a whole different thing. One of my friends said to me, when I first, Greg and I I was in Boston, he was in Connecticut for a few years, and then Emily and I moved down here. And when I moved down, she said, so if I would have told you that you were going to, have a thriving business, your daughter was going to be in a really great place, which we had to work on that because there's a lot of transition going on, that you were going to be with this unbelievably fabulous man who just, really cherishes you, and everything was going to be turned around, I would have told her she was crazy because I just didn't see it. And I think at the core of all of it was being a VA, because I didn't have to wait for someone to give me a raise, a 2% raise. And the other thing we're going to talk about in a few minutes is when you have a job, when you don't have a job, there is risk. There's definitely risk. But when you have a job, one person can just decide you're done. Right? We've all had that happen. I've been laid off, and that doesn't happen now. I have a bunch of clients, and if half of them went away, I could get some more. It would probably be a little bit of a jolt for a few minutes, but that has happened where I let go of a really big client and I was able to replace that income. So fast forward. So my VA business is called Rocket Girl Solutions. And after creating the six-figure income, I decided that I wanted to help other people be VAs, which is interesting because I have no experience training people or anything like that. I do now, but I didn't back then. It was completely new. And so I created the VA Connection, which is where you're probably watching from now. And we have an online community of more than 15,000 members in 147 countries. And I love doing this. We have all kinds of, ways that we get together. This is one of them right here, this event. We have webinars on Wednesdays. They're called the weekly webinars. I do different live trainings. And I'm really committed to connecting VAs all over the world. And it's been a success. And I'm thrilled, really thrilled. So today I'm coming to invite you into joining us and checking it out. So again, all questions are cool. Just put them in the chat. All right. So I want to start out here. I want to talk about what a virtual assistant is, because, so it's interesting. There's this course that I teach. It's called VA School, and we just wrapped it up last Friday. And one of the women I was talking to, I had exit interviews to find out, how'd you like it? What did you think we should change? What was left out? All that kind of stuff. And she said that when she found out when I told her what a VA was, she was totally surprised because she thought a VA was like a social media person. And you don't have to do social media. You don't actually have to do anything. There's no special set of skills. And we're going to talk about that as well. But let's just jump into this. And I'm going to make myself smaller for a second because I want you to be able to read this. A virtual assistant provides administrative, technical, or creative assistance to clients. I think it could also be a bookkeeper. I should probably add that. But bookkeeping is somewhat administrative. But instead of working full-time for one person or organization, he or she works virtually, usually from home, providing these same types of services to a range of clients. Now, can you see how much bandwidth there is in that? How much space? So you could be updating Word documents. I have made a ton of money formatting Word documents. Putting the logo in the same place in the corner and putting a copyright, all the stuff the client gives you. They say, do this. Okay. I've made a lot of money doing very sort of offline things. I had one client who paid me, I probably did this 8 or 10 hours a week scheduling. I scheduled meetings for him. Sure, I'm on the computer, but it's scheduling a meeting. It's not ClickFunnels. And a lot of people think you have to do marketing automation. And the other thing is they think that in order to make big money, you have to niche, and you also have to be highly technical. And that's not true. I'm definitely more technical than the average bear. I like to figure stuff out, which is the number one skill, figuring stuff out. But I'm able to make $90 or $100 an hour, depending on my clients' prepay time with me. And that's how much I get paid. And I just well, just a little while ago, I was just answering a few emails and, updating some graphics. I wasn't doing the graphic part. I was putting them in the document. We have someone else to do that because I don't do graphics. So, you can really build a nice business for yourself, and you don't have to be technical. You have to be reliable, and you have to be curious and want to figure stuff out. Reliable is probably the biggest one, because that you just, like, that's priceless, having someone you can rely on. Hey, Hillary. For years, I thought being a VA was similar to doing secretarial admin work, but online. I'm so glad to learn it involves many more skills. It can be anything. Like I spend a lot of time setting up webinars for people. So, I'll set up the Zoom, and I'll set up the reminders that are going out, and I'll edit the video. I'll put closed captioning on it. All of those things are simple to do and simple to learn, and definitely learnable. So yeah, you can do some complex stuff. I mean, some VAs build websites. That's not something that I do. I update websites. I have built them. I kind of know how, but I don't enjoy it, and I'm not that good at it. But it doesn't have to just be, admin stuff at all. And a lot of VAs are really great. They make logos and can be really technical. So yes, it's like wide open playing field. Okay. All right, so here's what I did for today. I came up with 7 questions that I think are important to consider before you become a VA, or as you're thinking about it. These are my questions, but you might have questions that I haven't thought of. So if you do, or if you want me to expand in any way, just let me know. Now, there is a lag. So it's possible that because I talk so fast, I will have moved on when you finally formulate your question, So don't be shy about asking something about a question before, right? Just don't give it a second thought. Just make sure your question goes in the chat so I can read it. All right. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to buzz through them, and then we're going to go into each one. Are you ready to work on your own? What do you need to get started? Where do you get clients? How much money can I earn? What training is required? Can you work part-time? And who hires virtual assistants? So those are the things I'm going to cover today, unless you want me to talk about something else as well. All right? Okay, let's jump in. All right, so the first question is, are you ready to work on your own? And I want to talk about that for a couple of minutes, because having a job and being a business owner are 2 completely different things. When you have a job, you're provided with the computer, the work, the manager, the desk, and you're told what to do, essentially. Now, as a VA, you're still kind of told what to do, because the client will say, can you do this? Can you do that? But you have to be willing to provide all of the business things, right? So you need to think of it as a business. So things like you need a business banking account, and you need an employer identification number, which is free and takes 10 seconds, but you need it. So what that is it's instead of giving people your social security number if they need it in order to report income that they've given you, you have what's called an EIN. And you give them that instead. So it's a way of keeping your personal social security number private. But you'll need to buy a computer, or have a computer that you can use that's reliable. You'll need to make sure you're backing up your files. You'll need to have a system for getting clients. You'll need to figure out what services you're going to offer. So it's really very different in that way. And so you don't have to know how to do it. You just need to know that's part of what you have to do, or in my case, get to do, because I think it's kind of fun. So keep that in mind. It's your business. You decide what it's called. You decide how much you charge. You decide who you're going to work with. You decide what hours you're going to work. And then this is a big part of it too. Are you self-guided? Will you put yourself in your chair and say, okay, I need to work on my website, Okay, I need to make sure that my email newsletter is going out. Okay, I need to go to a networking event. I need, these different things that are going to generate the clients that you're going to want to have in order to make the money that you have in mind. So you really do have to be self-guided. And I think for a lot of us who have had jobs for so long, that can be a little tricky because there's no one telling me to go sit at my desk. I could still be sitting at the dining room table right now if I wanted to, but I've built up the muscle over time, and I was very motivated because if my business was not a success, I was going to have to get a job, and I was really clear I didn't want to do that, and I was tired of the struggle. I was tired of it. So you do have to be self-guided. So it takes some discipline and the ability to really be organized. Consistency, that's the word I was looking for. You need to be consistent. And then the last thing we talked about for a minute, this how much risk are you willing to take? And I think of this as the single point of failure, which I think I just mentioned, which is, you're working for someone, you have a job, and they fire you or say, I don't need you anymore, or the business goes out of business, or COVID happens, and all of a sudden, single point of failure, you're done. And with me having the number of clients that I have, really, 10 people go away, no problem, or maybe a blip, but not a huge problem, because I have a lot of clients and I do the work, but what happens is they need me every month for like a couple hours or a special project or here or there. So the work is flowing in all the time, and one person or two people can't make or break it. They just can't. And I take on new clients every month. So it's just this steady stream. Okay. So yes, there's risk, and there are things that need to be handled, like health insurance. And let me tell you this story. So the second client that I had, the one I did the webinars with, I was thinking that I was crazy to have my own business. I'd been in corporate my whole career, and I was thinking, what about health insurance? I'm not getting 401k. Like, am I crazy or what? And I'm going to tell you what he said, and then I'm going to back up for a minute. He said, just make more money and pay for your own health insurance. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he said, no, just make more money. And that's what I did. And I pay for my own health insurance. And it's not cheap. But the thing is that you can do that. You can turn up the dial. You can raise your rates. You can decide to, really put it out there. And, you can easily, well, it's not easy like a stroll in the park. It's easy like I didn't have to, do anything uncomfortable or icky, but I, generated that $100,000 for a year for the last 10 years. You can definitely do it. Now, I am a hard worker, and I, treated my clients really well. I was reliable. I, rarely miss deadlines and never miss them without anybody knowing it's coming. So, I really, I was able to do it and build a nice referral network. All right, so what do I need to get started? All right, let's talk about that. You need a dedicated workspace. You need a place where you can put your stuff and leave it. It's too stressful to have to set it all up every single time. Now, I used to work on a dining room table from IKEA, and I liked it because it was deep and I had plenty of room. Recently, well, I guess it's not so recent anymore. About a year and a half ago, Greg bought me a standing desk at IKEA because I'm really tall and I was getting all twisted up under there. I'm 5'10". So my office has been no wider than my desk and maybe that much on either side for years. It was in a corner of my living room, the bay window of my dining room. It was in part of my bedroom, so it just has to be a room that you kind of have control over, and when Emily was little, she would go to bed. And so the living room was fine. And, and it was good because I could see her, we were together, but we weren't on top of each other. So you do need that space because you want to be able to set your work up and walk away from it, because that's some of the, the beautiful thing is to walk away from it and then come back. If she comes home from school and I'm making her a snack, I can just stand up, leave it. It's not in anyone's way. Go handle that and then come back. So that's important. I would say that's one of the most important things. The other one is you need to be able to talk about what you do. And I'm going to give you a solution for that at the top of the hour, or when we're done. If you can't clearly articulate what you do so that when people say, what do you do for work? No one's going to be able to hire you because they're not going to know. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. If we've been in corporate, there's some ego that goes into that. We want to call ourselves something important. I understand. I was one of those people posturing for, the title. And I can't even talk about this enough. It's like, you just want to be crystal clear. So they think, oh, I know what that is. And they also can, remember it and refer you. So being able to talk about what you do and to be clear on your pricing, really huge, really huge. Because think about it. If you were to, you ask someone, well, how do you charge? And and they're saying, well, I could give you a special discount. If I stand on one foot, it'll be this much. And if I do this, it'll be that much. You want to be able to say something like I say, which is, it's really simple. Here's how it works. People prepay my time in 5 or 10 hour chunks. I call it the Rocket Girl debit card. If you buy 5 hours, it's $500 or $100 an hour. If you buy 10 hours, it's $900 or $90 an hour. You can use the time in any increment you want for a year. And then I say like a couple more things, and then I stop talking, because we're not negotiating about my pricing. That's just how it works. And it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be stuffing envelopes, which I do for a client. He buys cards at Vistaprint. I print the labels, stuff them in, put the stamps on, drive to the post office, mail them for him for $90 an hour. And I also run his webinars for $90 an hour, and I'll fix a typo on his website for $90 an hour. Really simple, really simple. So you need to be clear, and you need to make sure you're charging enough, because if you work 1 million hours and you're not making a good hourly rate, you can't make any money. Now, I didn't start at 90 and 100. I started much lower, but I had a very clear system on how I was going to raise my rates over time. All right, where do you get clients? Clients are everywhere. They're everywhere. I'm talking about everywhere. I have met or been introduced or met clients all over the place, all over the place. The woman that owns my daughter's driving school, she hired me. The dry cleaner where I brought her gown for homecoming or something to be hemmed, hired me. And it's because I'm clear about what I do. So when someone says, what do you do? I say, oh, I'm a virtual assistant. I work with, small businesses. I help them with their admin pieces, like blah, blah, blah. And it's just, it's crystal clear what I do. So, so here's the next bullet. So you get clients everywhere by being clear about what you do and spreading the word. And I really tell everybody, you go to in a networking event, that's kind of the point of the whole thing. But everywhere I go, everybody knows what I do, not in a pushy way, just in a very clear way. I like working. I've always liked work. My working in corporate, I loved that. And, so I'll meet someone and say, what do you do for work? Very casually, and I'm interested and I'm listening. And then I want them to ask me what I do for work, because they usually do. And then I tell them, and then another person knows. So you just want to spread the word everywhere you go. But there's no shortage of clients at all. No shortage. In fact, I'm trying to slow down the flow of clients, because I'm focusing more on the VA connection, and I want to just take care of the clients that I have. And people are still getting on my calendar. I had a call today. She moved it to next week, but to find out if we could work together. So you just tell everybody, Anything coming up? Questions? Anything? Okay. I'm just thinking about this for a minute. Yeah, okay. I don't think there's anything else to add, except a lot of people think you have to find people online and you have to stalk people you don't know. And one of my friends, he tells the story. He just says, that would be like going into a bar and asking someone to marry you. Like, it's not going to happen. It just doesn't happen that way. All my clients, 100% of them are referrals. I hesitated because I was going to say 100% of the good ones. I don't take clients that are not referrals or haven't seen me somewhere or met me. They don't work out to be good clients. And yeah. And one other thing I want to tell you is that I'm an introvert, so I don't like to go to lots of events. I went to them when I needed to get my business going. And I'm more comfortable now, but I actually quit a well-paying job because they promoted me and they wanted me to do sales. They wanted me to go to networking events and talk to people, and I quit because I don't like that. I don't like sales. So the way that I get clients really has nothing to do with sales at all. Nothing. All right. So how much money can I earn? Well, I just told you how much money I made. And you can go anywhere in between. And here's the thing that it mostly depends on is definitely your skills. Like, you have to know where your hard drive is. You have to have some level of skill. It doesn't have to be as a VA. So for example, when my client asked me to do his online scheduling, I had done my own online calendar for years. The last time I managed someone else's schedule was before the computer. Okay. I was in my 20s and we used to do it in his book. I would take his calendar and I would write in it and I would return it. But when my client said to me, can you do my calendar? I didn't say, I haven't done that as a virtual assistant. I just said, sure, I can do that. And we worked out a system, we figured it out. So the skills matter, but they don't have to be shiny, fresh, new skills. I do a lot of things that are really kind of common sense, or clients teach me what they want me to have, what they want me to do. So I've shared my story about this. The reason that I started at $50 an hour, that's where I started, $50 an hour, because I was in corporate and that's about what I made. I made a little over $100,000 a year. And I just thought, you know what, my brain is my brain, and my, brain processing capabilities the market has said they're at $50 an hour. Now, if you've never made $50 an hour, that doesn't mean you can't charge that. And if you've never made $30 or $40 an hour, you can still start there. You totally can. One time before I launched VA School, the course that I teach on being a virtual assistant, I interviewed 20 people who were VAs, and I wanted to know, sorry, I'm reading the chat. I shouldn't do that. I wanted to know what they wanted. How could I develop this school so that they could get value? And one of the women said to me, I know I have to pay my dues when it comes to raising my rates. And I said, there are no dues. You don't have to pay your dues, no dues. You just decide what you want to charge. You need to practice talking about it so you can say it confidently, because you'll notice I didn't say, well, most of my clients pay me this much money. I said, it's really simple. Here's how it works. Like, I was confident because I practiced it. So the face here is someone says, I am very honest and I say I've never done that, but maybe I shouldn't. Okay, no. I'm not saying if you've never done it. Like, if I had never scheduled a meeting for anyone in my life, I would not. He didn't ask me the question. Okay, here's the thing. He didn't say, have you done this for anyone else? He said, can you handle my calendar? I can handle his calendar. So you want to be careful that you're answering the question. I do not want you to not tell the truth ever. I never want you to do that. When I make a mistake, which I do, I am right there. I just realized I made the mistake. This is what happened. I don't try to hide it or push it under the rug. And if someone came to me and said, I want you to close caption this video, and I'd never done that before, but we have a relationship, I'll say, I haven't done that before, but I have a friend I can ask. Is that okay? And they usually say, sure. Okay. They just want to not have to do it. That's the big thing. They just want it to go away, and they want it to be done reliably and by someone who's going to, take care of it. Oh yeah. Good. Okay. Um, yes. And so let me just read that. I see what you're saying. Depends on how the question is asked. Makes sense. Yeah. So what I don't want you to do is like unpack the whole suitcase. Like I could have said to him, well, I've done my own calendar for a while, and I did that, guys, when I was 20, but we didn't use computers. So, but I've done mine. They don't want to know all that. They just want to know, sure. And we did have to build a system because he wasn't comfortable not knowing. So he would say, I need to meet with these 20 people during this week. Okay. And he didn't know where I was in the process. I had a spreadsheet to track where I was. So I shared the spreadsheet with him so that he could see when I last contacted everybody. And so we built a system over time of him feeling comfortable and me knowing what to do. For example, he said to me, you're confirming with everyone, right? I hadn't thought about that. I know that's kind of a silly thing, but I hadn't thought about that because I don't confirm my own appointments. So I probably should, but anyway, longer story. So I said, I haven't been, but I would be happy to. Is there anything in particular you'd like me to say? And he said, say blah, blah, blah. And I said, great. So then every day I would confirm all the meetings. I would CC him on them so he could see that. But you can see almost anything I do is a process like that. We figure it out. However, if someone said to me, can you build me a website? I'd say, no. Can you build me some graphics? No. Can you write my website? No. Can you write my social media? No. I don't want to do any of those things, but I have some people that could help, or I have a process that I can show them how to do it. Okay. Yeah, definitely. You want to be honest. I completely agree. But but I do like what you're saying. It depends on how the question is asked, because I think sometimes we give too much information, and the problem with that is we overwhelm people. We overwhelm them, and they just don't know what to do with all that information. That's been my experience because I've done it. All right. What training is required? All right, I'm going to give you a couple of things. One is, so my website for the VA Connection is thevaconnection.com. And if you go there and you scroll down a little bit, there are 3 yellow boxes. The one in the middle, I believe, is the money-making task list. Click on that. You need to give me your email address, but I'm not going to spam you. You'll start getting my newsletter every Monday, and download that list. Now, that list is 12 pages of a bajillion things you can do as a VA. Now, when you download it, if you choose to download it, please do not read it and think, I have to learn all this stuff. I don't know all that stuff. All right. Look at it as like, oh, I could do that, or I could do that, or I could do that. All right. And even if you can only do one thing in that whole 12 pages, you can start a VA business. Okay. I just want you to know that really clear. Okay. So do that. And, it's really the challenge is the business of running a business. That's the whole thing, because if the actual what you do, you can figure out as you go. It's really making sure that you're charging enough that, you know how to onboard a client, that you don't just say, yeah, well, that's what I did at first. Yeah. Okay. We can get started. And then I realized, and the clients are like, well, what do we do first? And I would say, we just work together. And then I realized I needed an onboarding. I needed to send them an email, and I needed to figure out how to make them feel like I was in business for real, and that they didn't just give me a bunch of money. We were going to see what happened, so there's things like that I think are at least, if not more important than the skills and what you provide for your clients. So that's something you have to be serious about. There was just something I thought about. Oh yeah. So and I've said this, but I want to be really clear about it. The primary skill of a virtual assistant is I'll figure it out and then being reliable, because most of the time my clients have no idea how to do. They'll tell me, I want to get here. and we'll know the steps. But what happens is over time, you work with 1 client, 2 clients, 4 clients, 10 clients, it's all starts to kind of be the same, or it's like a little add-on to the thing you already know. So I definitely am still learning new things. I learned this most super cool thing yesterday about how to organize pages in folders in Chrome, like mind blown. So it's not like I stopped learning, because I love to learn new things, but you reach a certain, after a certain amount of clients and a certain amount of hours, it just starts to be kind of the same enough that you feel confident. You feel more confident. All right, part-time. You can definitely work part-time. That's one of the beautiful things about being a VA. You just have to consider the kind of work that you're doing. So, for example, my client who I was doing his calendar, I was doing a bunch of other stuff too, and he really treated me as if I were outside of his door. Like in the olden days when admin sat outside the boss's door. So he generally, unless I tell him I'm not going to be at my desk, he expects that he'll hear from me within a couple of hours. And if he calls me, that I will answer the phone unless I'm already on it. And that's the way we've set it up. And I'm perfectly happy with that. In fact, I actually like it. Other clients, so that wouldn't work. Part-time wouldn't work, because I can't just work on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons from 3 to 5. Now, on the other hand, one of my clients emailed me a newsletter last night. She was working, and we publish on Thursday. I can do it tonight. I can do it tomorrow. I can do it after this. I could have done it this morning. I could have done it yesterday. And as long as I'm able to give her a test so she can approve it sometime on Wednesday, preferably, midday at the latest, everybody's happy. Right? So lots of flexibility. And, you want to set the expectation. You want to let them know when you're available. And it's okay, because here's the thing. When you're getting hired and when you're literally letting people hire you, you want to make sure it's a fit. It's like, going to the, I don't know. It's like marrying someone hoping that it's going to work out because they're going to change. Like they're not going to, what they need isn't going to change. So you just don't want to put yourself in a position where you're twisting yourself around. If someone said to me, I need someone to write social media or I can't hire you. Okay. Like, it doesn't matter how hungry I am. I can't write social media for other people. I write my own, but I can't write it for other people. So, really you want to set the expectations and you want to keep a consistent schedule. So what I mean by that is, if you're working Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or every day from 10 until 2, whatever it is, you want to set that expectation. So if you leave, let's say you take the day off and you don't tell anybody, which you don't have to do, you need to keep an eye on your email in case someone needs you for something that you typically provide during that time. So you want to keep a consistent schedule when you're working part-time, and I think in full-time as well. I think it's easier when you're full-time because I'm just sitting here all day, Monday through Friday. So the question is, who hires virtual assistants? Pretty much anyone who understands what we do, who has their own business. I have clients who are small business owners, authors, financial planners, coaches, consultants, nutritionists, and I have hired virtual assistants in the past to help me. At one point, I thought I wanted to have a VA agency, and I hired some VAs and we were working together, and I decided I didn't want to do that, but I gave it a shot. I like working more on my own when it comes to doing VA work. And I'm on some teams, but teams meaning my client has a team of people and I'm part of that. But I like just doing the work myself, more comfortable. So, all right, so here are these questions again. I'm gonna put them up so you can look at them and see if anything comes to mind. I know there's a little lag. Whenever I get off of these presentations or these webinars, it's like, as soon as I click done, somebody makes a comment. So I just want to make sure that doesn't happen today. Okay. Oh, there's one more. Who hires VAs? Okay, so here now I'm going to tell you, you are the very first people to hear about this. Are you ready? So if you want to pursue being a VA, oh, here we go. Hillary. Hi, Hillary. I noticed you're watching from YouTube. That's cool. A phone. You need a phone. Yeah, you need a phone. No, I don't print very much. I have that one client I print labels for once a month. So even if you didn't have a dedicated printer, you could probably figure that out. Probably need a camera. I didn't work online on, I had a free Zoom account and I would screen share because I did that a lot because people wanted to, they wanted to see, what I was doing, or I had questions and I needed to explain what I needed. I couldn't just, I just needed to share my screen. And it's much easier than saying, click here, click here. You just show them what to do. I would say a free Loom account, LOOM. It's for, so a client will, like, here's an example. The other day, somebody, they have their own Zoom account and they needed to use someone else's Zoom account. And she didn't understand how to get into the other Zoom account because she was logged into her account, but she didn't realize that. She just thought, I can't get there. And so her brain froze, right? Very intelligent human being, very successful, but that's who my clients are. They don't understand that. So I turn on Loom video and I say, hi, I think I understand the issue. Let's just log out here and then log in. And here's the information you need to log in. And she sent me an email back a couple minutes later. You were the best. You saved my life. I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. Now that's the kind of stuff that people pay me $90 an hour for. So just keep that in mind when you think you should only charge 15. Now I knew what it was because I have my own, Zoom account, and I was like, oh wait, I bet she's just logged in as her. So it's really things like that. But no, it'll grow over time. I started out with notebooks. I tracked all my stuff in notebooks. And then I moved to different free versions of, project management software, but you don't need to spend a ton of money. You don't need to do a ton of social media. There's definitely other things to do. And I'm glad. And this is one of them. So let me tell you about this. So starting on October 11th, and seriously, you are the first people I'm telling about, which is pretty exciting. I'm going to do a 5-day live challenge. Monday through Friday, I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to do to get a steady stream of clients as a virtual assistant. We're going to talk about your services that you can offer. We're going to talk about, how to talk about your work, and we're going to talk about what to say to people. It's very specific. And I would love to have you join. If you were in the challenge, we did it in June, you can do it again. Completely free, a ton of information. So how you find that is, and there's a Facebook group, and the Facebook group has already started. It started last week, and I'm posting information into that every single day. So blog posts, videos, all kinds of things. Part of this is I'm in the process of finishing up a book on how to create the virtual assistant business of your dreams. And the chapter on getting clients is in there. Yes, absolutely. We have people all over the world. In fact, the last time I did this, we had people like, I don't even know how many countries. What I teach, no matter where you are, unless you're in some crazy isolated place, it totally works. It totally works. But tons of people have taken my programs and been very successful. Well, I'm trying to think the people who just finished. Canada, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, New Zealand, definitely the UK, Ireland. There's a woman from Malaysia. I'm trying to remember where they're all from, but yes, absolutely. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of energy. And we also, there's homework, there's checklists, there's a workbook, and like I said, a Facebook group just for this group. And what happens is, if you do your homework and you post it in the Facebook group, then you are eligible to win prizes. And the prizes are, free trainings, 30-minute strategy sessions with me, all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty exciting. And I'm just thrilled to tell you guys about it because I'm going to start telling the whole world, in about, I just did, I guess, but in just a couple of minutes. So I'd love to have you join me there. So the S really matters here. If you don't include the S, you're going to go someplace else. So I don't think, can I put it in the chat? Oh, maybe I can. Hold on. Sometimes I can put stuff in the chat with StreamYard and other times I can't. I don't know how that works. There we go. So now it's in the chat. Go ahead and grab it before we end because it will go away. Okay. Any final questions? Any final questions? No. Okay. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you for coming. If you have questions while later or you're watching the replay, just tag me so I can be notified and pop over and answer them. So thanks for your attention. I hope you'll consider being a VA. It's a really great way to have a career, a great career, work with lots of people, do work that you love, help people, and make some money. So, all right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you. You're welcome, Hillary. Bye.